The Cloud. This is a horror visual novel. The Cloud is part of the Chronicle from the Abyss anthology. Along with The Cloud are 3 other short games. First released on X.io by amateur indie game developer Adriano Silva. The gameplay of The Cloud revolves around the visual novel genre. Your choices will determine the ending. It sounds familiar, but don't be too subjective because the story you are about to witness is definitely not normal. Lock the door, turn off all the lights, and let's see what the rain outside really is. After the extremely strange warning about a cloud that just appeared on TV, I felt very confused. It's just a cloud. Could it drown me or something? I opened the door and went outside. My curiosity made me not listen to the instructions. I reached out to catch a falling raindrop. Nothing happened. Maybe everything about the cloud that was warned on TV was just a cruel joke. It's been a while since I played outside in the rain. This is a good opportunity. But then, things started to get weird. Something pulled me up. In just a few seconds, I was in the cloud. I felt something moving and some flashing lights. The light became so bright, it felt like it was penetrating my body. In a second, I was back on the ground. It felt weird, like something was moving inside my skull. Back home, the light made me feel uncomfortable and weak. A strange anger flared up inside me. It made me want to hunt down and kill anyone on my way. Ending 19. What the hell just happened? The video started with a very strange ending, with 19 different endings. Okay, I'm immortal. So, I'll use 19 lives to experience all the endings, and arrange the endings in a reasonable way. After the last experience. Now, I will have to be more careful when making choices. My experiment will mainly revolve around certain events. That is the intrusion of rainwater, the appearance of a stranger, and my decisions before some events. First, let's talk about the development of this unexpected rain. I opened the door without paying attention to the warning on the news. I tried to touch the rain and went inside the house. I thought it was all just a cruel joke, but suddenly something made me stop. Something cold, slippery, and transparent had slipped from the crack of the door and wrapped around my leg. What should I do now? If I let it pull away, it will be ending 19 like the beginning. I was transformed and became extremely ferocious. But is there anything else I can do? I tried to resist the tentacle. It sensed my resistance, so it became more fierce. It picked me up and slammed me against the wall violently. I couldn't resist. I was dead. My body was in a state of disarray. My identity couldn't be discovered. Ending 4. The next time, I tried locking the door and windows, but I left the lights on. I noticed some water leaking through the cracks in the window. I stood there curiously to see what would happen. The water gathered into a strange, jelly-like mass, and it slowly approached me. I didn't have time to think. It rushed forward and wrapped around me like a snake wrapping around its prey, slowly squeezing me. My screams were drowned out by the sound of the rain. My bones were broken. The liquid had folded my body into an origami masterpiece. Ending 3. The next time, I tried to fix the hole in the window, but it was useless. The liquid would still leak in from somewhere else. It was under my feet without me knowing. Like last time, I was folded into an origami. So, this time I threw the blanket onto the puddle. The blanket absorbed all the water on the floor. But then, the blanket started moving. I ran away from there, but it was too late. The soaked blanket easily wrapped around me. It suffocated me to death. What others saw was just a bloody cloth bag. Ending 2. I locked the door and windows, turned off the lights, lit a candle, and observed outside. But I noticed that these raindrops fell in a perfect order. It didn't feel like rain. It felt like a shower. I took out a pen and took notes. While doing so, I recalled some memories when my grandmother saw the cloud coming. After a while, something strange happened. The liquid starts going back. It was like rewinding, but the sound outside was like it was still falling. I had to find out the truth. I investigated further, interviewed people, wrote a book about the cloud, and the book was a success. I started a campaign to get the government to publicly reveal the truth about the cloud. Ending 7. On another occasion, instead of taking notes, I opened the window slightly and let a drop of water fall into the house. I tried drinking it. It tasted no different from normal water. I guess this was just a social experiment to see if people would do everything the government told them to do. I was about to open the door to go outside. Suddenly, my head was banged hard against the door, repeatedly and uncontrollably. A quick and brutal death came to me. Ending 10. Next time, I don't drink that liquid anymore. I watch it carefully. It doesn't stay still but starts to slide towards the glass like a bug. I stop it with a cup. After a while, it suddenly shoots away like a bullet, piercing through my body, bouncing continuously every time it hits me. I'm dizzy. My body is covered with wounds. I become a piece of bloody cheese. Ending number 8. This time, I want to try using fire. The only option in the house is the candle. I put the candle near the water drop and see how long it takes for the water drop to evaporate. But I didn't notice another puddle that quietly entered the house. It slowly approaches me. It gathers together and turns into a human form. It suddenly attacks me, tortures me to death, as if the small water drop just now called for help. Ending 9. This time, I lock the door but not the windows, leave the lights on and prepare some late-night food. I sipped my food and waited for the rain to pass. The smell of fried eggs and bacon made me forget my negative thoughts for a while. I forgot about the sudden deaths. I went to get some drinks from the fridge, but when I turned around, I saw that the window was wide open, so the liquid outside had flooded inside. I had to jump on the table to avoid the liquid, but this was not enough. I found a higher position. I climbed to the top of the fridge and expected everything to stop. An hour later, the rain stopped and the liquid gradually went through the window, defying gravity. Everything was dry as before. I survived. Now I really understand why people have to follow the rules. I will never break them again. Ending 18. But what if I had only made food and not gone to get drinks from the fridge? I used another life to test. And this time, when I realized the liquid had entered the house, it was too late. I quickly climbed on top of the refrigerator and tried to throw the plate down. It shattered, but suddenly a sharp sound tore through the air. My neck was bleeding. Some entity had taken a piece of the plate and cut my neck. I fell down in shock and the liquid folded my body into origami again. Ending 3. This time, I quickly got up, ran straight towards the window. The liquid stuck to my leg. A feeling of fear and doubt arose in my mind. And that was a very unwise decision. The liquid under my feet swirled so hard that it broke my leg. It threw me to the ground. One more time. Ending 3. And that was all the events that happened around the liquid outside. Usually it would happen when I violated one of the safety rules. Now, I will find out the cases that happened to strangers outside. I locked the door and windows, turned off all the lights in the house, leaving only a little light shining through the window. I sat down and relaxed by listening to music, but then a desperate man kept knocking on my door asking for help. I decided to leave him alone. After a while, the man left. The cloud also disappeared. I went back to my normal life without anything happening. Ending 1. But what if I asked the stranger to leave? At that time, he seemed to be agitated. He became crazy, broke the door, and rushed into my house. In the pitch-black darkness, my weak resistance could not save me from the bloodthirsty murderer. He tore me like a mad beast. Ending 4. The next time, I locked the door but not the windows and left the lights on. I found something to do while waiting for everything to return to normal. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats. How about that? Suddenly, a scream echoed from afar. A man with zombie-like behavior was trying to approach me from the window. He was banging his head against the glass, trying to get inside the house. This guy was so rude. I rushed to punch him, but my fist was useless. I grabbed his head and cut the sharp pieces of glass on the door frame. The intruder's head was now in my hand. I called the police. The police came and took the body away for analysis. As for me, I was only warned for not following security procedures. But at least, I was still alive. Ending 15. Another option. I ran and got the knife. Meanwhile, the stranger got inside and was rushing towards me. I stabbed him in the neck with the knife and kicked him away. Blood was splattered everywhere, but that person did not show any pain. Without stopping, I continued to stab him in the face many times, causing him to collapse. I checked the body and made sure he did not get up again. Then I called the authorities. Ending 15. But if when preparing to fight, I chose to avoid, what would have happened? The stranger madly rushed towards me. I slashed his leg. He fell near the stove. I was also knocked down by him. He took the opportunity to bite my shoulder. I turned on the gas stove to use the fire to burn his face. After a while of fighting without giving up, part of the stranger's head was roasted. I used my last bit of strength to call the ambulance, and then I woke up in the hospital. I miraculously survived. Ending 17. Back to when we both fell in the house. If I didn't step on the intruder and stab him with a knife, I had to do something else. I got on top of him and stabbed him repeatedly. I pulled his spine out, raised it in the air as a sign of victory. A very bloody fatality. The rain had stopped. I survived, but I was definitely going to need long-term psychological treatment to recover from this horrific encounter. Ending 16. I didn't want psychological treatment. I didn't want to kill him either. He was once human. I tried to subdue him with the knife. I slashed his jaw and broke his arms and legs. The rain had stopped. Both of us were lying on the floor. The monster was completely subdued, and I was exhausted. Then I used the last of my strength to call 911. Ending 15. But what if I didn't grab the knife in time? I had to find something else to attack him with. But the intruder was faster. He headbutted me and pushed me against the wall. I was completely powerless to resist. This madman tore me apart until I was nothing more than a mangled corpse. Ending 4. Back to the darkness, the door locked and only using the light from the candle. But this time I was going to read a book. The mysterious man still appeared with a weak cry for help. But this time, I made a different choice. I opened the door to let him in. He begged me not to turn on the light. His voice was extremely distorted. This was also the first time I saw someone walking under the cloud. It was the perfect opportunity to investigate it. I could see one thing. People walking in the rain would get agitated as soon as they saw a source of light. He shared what he knew about the cloud with me. Like the cloud was not a natural phenomenon. Sometimes it will pick some people and pull them up and show them the truth like the stranger's brother. When the cloud left, I called the ambulance for the poor man. But as soon as I opened the door, everything went dark. I woke up on the chair and there was no trace of the man from yesterday. My neighbors around my house said that there was a car parked next to my house after the rain stopped. It wasn't an ambulance, but men in black suits. Ending 5. Now follow the safety procedure. Then I took a flashlight and checked the roof. I walked around looking for any leaks. A noise came from the kitchen. Then I heard someone's footsteps. I quickly hid in the bathroom and locked the door. I heard the stranger slowly approaching. If I threaten the intruder that I had a gun, he will beg for help because he just went under the cloud and the rain did something to him. I opened the door and shined the flashlight on the stranger, making him mad. He attacks me. Ending 4. This time, I pretend to be quiet. The intruder tries to open the door, but everything is quiet again. Only my fear is still there. A few hours later, I open the door to check, ready to fight back, but the stranger has left. The only sign is the window wide open. I tell myself I will never leave it open again. Ending 12. That's all my interactions with the strange intruder. And now, I will experience everything alone. I lock the door as usual, but leave the window open. I take the flashlight and shine it up at the sky, see if there is any strange phenomenon here. There is a light reflected back from the cloud. Something in the cloud sensed my presence. I flashed the light in rhythm. The cloud followed suit as if we were communicating. But when I flashed the light 3 times, the light and the rain suddenly stopped. A deadly silence fell. Suddenly, the cloud poured in through the cracks in the door. The cloud was here. I held my breath and rushed outside. But it wasn't any safer out here. People were screaming, coughing, and trying to run away. I couldn't hold my breath any longer. I could only inhale, and something in the mist slowly destroyed my body. from the inside out. A few hours later, the entire town was wiped out. The cloud had slaughtered every last person. The government would make up a story about why no one in the town survived. Ending 13. This time, I chose to flash the light continuously at the cloud. When I turned off the light from the cloud also went out. The rain stopped, and there was only silence. I stood there, praying for the best. And it did. The cloud left. The dawn broke. I was getting so used to this trick that I could make the cloud go away earlier than usual. I was safe. I told myself that I would always follow the procedure when I encountered this mysterious phenomenon again. Ending 14. With the same flashlight, and if I chose to check the street, I would hit a figure in the distance, causing him to twitch and scream. I had triggered something. Panicking, I quickly turned off the lights, reinforced the door, and hid under the bed. This was a lesson I would never forget. From now on, I would ignore everything outside and follow the rules. Ending 1. This time, I didn't go out but checked inside the house. I checked the bathroom. There was something strange about this room. The mirror seemed to contain a disguised person looking at me from the other side. I touched the mirror, but it wasn't just a normal mirror. I suddenly felt extremely sleepy and passed out. When I woke up, the cloud was gone, and on the mirror appeared Morse code written with my own fingerprint. I don't remember when I did it, but I will write it down and study it later. Ending 11. Fully follow the safety procedures. I looked out the window. From here, I could observe the cloud. It was huge, gray, with a dark area in the middle. I wondered why everyone had to hide from it. The more I looked, the more my mind became confused. I fell asleep without knowing it. Strange words appeared, and everything fell into darkness. I had a strange dream where I was an alien fighting a bunch of enemies in a video game. I lost because the enemies had long-range weapons. But in reality, I was shot 12 times, until a bullet hit my head. It turned out, I was wandering the streets, attacking people like crazy. The authorities told the people that I was so stressed that it led to a mental breakdown. Ending 6. And that's all the content about each ending of the cloud. Everything is very vague. I still don't understand anything. But luckily, the game developer left one additional lore. When I looked further, I found a page of secret documents about something the government called the Cleaner Project. This would explain everything that happened. Turns out, the world is on the verge of a nuclear war. The government demanded a new form of weapon, a clean method to stop conflicts without suspicion from other countries. The Morse code that appeared on the mirror earlier was a description of its setup. In theory, this weapon could enter the battlefield, disguised as a normal cloud. It uses technology to wipe out enemies without leaving a trace, with a nuclear battery and solar panels. Its host computer can create nano-sized machines that simulate water. However, AI in computers is still under development, leading to the cloud being constantly activated without identifying the exact target. In other words, it has escaped. In rain mode, the cloud uses liquid droplets to search and destroy. With the help of human transformation, by kidnapping a target and using lasers to put them into a state of extreme anger for a long time, this person will hunt down anyone who survives the rain. Shining a light on it at a certain frequency can make the cloud go out. But this method has not been effective for decades. The world is now left with an enemy that cannot be defeated. Generations have learned to fear and avoid the cloud. The authorities are doing their best to contain and conceal its origin. If someone can use a flashlight to communicate with the cloud and put it into standby mode, that is when the cloud aborts its mission and returns to its original testing location. The authorities will send a van with secret agents to compensate the subject and restore the flashlight, the only thing that can communicate with the cloud. And that's the end of today's video. If you find it interesting, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.